final round of the middle school division. Today we have Team Manifesto on government and Team Fractal on opposition. Because this is a final round, there are observers present, and I ask that if you want to exit the room, please do so after the one speech is over, not during the speeches of the debaters. And also, if you have cell phones, please put them on silent or airplane mode so that the debaters won't be disturbed. Having said that, under the middle school EFL final motion, which is, if the world comes to an end tomorrow and there's only one spaceship of limited spaces to escape Earth and start a new civilization, this house would prioritize people based on intelligence. We would now like to call up the Prime Minister when she's ready. Thank you. You may begin whenever you're ready.
Madam Speaker and all fellow debaters. Actually, the modern society, there are lots of various types of people, such as some people is very intelligent people, or some people is not very intelligent people. However, actually, that when we see this society and in this modern society, actually that many intelligent people usually get the many expectation and can get many advantage in our society, in our world as well. So we believe that, and when we are, if Earth is ended on tomorrow, and if we have to escape the Earth until tomorrow, we believe that the intelligent people should be prioritizing escaping the Earth and also making new civilization as well. So, before I want to present our team's arguments, I want to define the motion firstly. So we want to define the motion that that it is also intelligent people. So we will that it is people who have special abilities such as having leadership or scientific talent, scientific ability. However, we can change this ability by our self-effort from the studying or some activities. So based on these points, our team's government score is very clear. So the base goal and the base point that in this debate is we think that making sustainable society after the ending the Earth's life, and also keeping the human's life and mankind's life as well. So based on these points, our team has 3 arguments about this motion. And under this question, why we have to prioritize having the intelligence people. So 3 things that we strongly claim about and relate to arguments. Firstly, it's about the sustainable mankind society, and it is actually the good for sustainable mankind society and human's life. And secondly, importance of intelligence people. And lastly, last argument will be told by our team's second speaker. So now let's move on to our team's first argument, which was so we want to prove in the first argument is the 3 things that we will present 3 things about this related to this argument. First, we have 3 analyses in this argument. Firstly, it's about government law, and also it is related to all of the world law as well. And secondly, second analysis is the intelligence people, and third analysis is efficient of sustainable society, and how can it is effect to our society and human society as well. So let's move on to first analysis now. So we told that first analysis is government rule, and actually the government rule is that basically it saves the people's life as possible as they can, and the way that saving the people's life as much as possible as they can. It is actually that we will that this prioritize the intelligent people. So we will that why the intelligent people should be prioritized. That we will present in analysis too, and also that our second argument will be I will definitively claim that about this point. So and actually the second governing rule is making the sustainable societies and mankind society as well. And now let's move on to our second analysis, which was that intelligence, why we should why we should prioritize intelligent people. So actually the intelligent people have that we can search in various we can see various elites such as the science elite or some math elite or the professional doctors or medicine elite as well. These people are the intelligent people actually. However, these people and also the most important people is that having leadership people. That if we have these abilities, that the people who have these abilities is very efficient too and very effective to make use civilization as well. And also, but if we just escape the firstly prioritize the common people, or anyone can escape this earth and anyone we can make escape the earth, that we never can make, and these people never can have this outstanding intelligence, and also that having no leadership. That means that we can that means the impossibility of making new civilization will go down, and also the possibility of this will go decrease as well. So in first argument, that last analysis is the efficiency of sustainable society, how we can affect to the mankind society, and also the future. So actually that make mankind's life sustainable is very important, because we actually the purpose of living this life is making, and it's also related to the human history or as well. And now let's move on to our second argument, which was the importance of intelligent people. And actually that I shortly explained this why we have to prioritize intelligent people in first argument and in analysis too. But actually that I will explain it with lots of specific examples. So, for example, if intelligent people that I mentioned before, there are lots of various types of intelligent people, such as the math professional, or the math doctor, or some scientist that is very efficient to make new society. So, for example, when we go to the other planets and make new society, that's we can explain with three examples. So for example, if science professional can help to make the scientists such as developing shoot in living our society, or however the doctors can give effect to our making new civilization, such as heal the people in the new planet as well. And also the less professional or the others, lots of professional can give lots of benefits and give lots of good things to making new civilization and making new sustainable society as well. So thank you. I'm so proud to propose.
We thank the Prime Minister for his wonderful speech. Leader of Opposition, when she's ready. Whenever you're ready.
Madam Speaker, irresponsible government is actually judging the people by their intelligence. And our team think that it is very immoral to government to actually judge people based on their intelligence. And our team think that they should actually decide we should give an equal chance for everyone. And our team think that it is a basic government role that we need to fulfill. Before I move on to our team's constructive arguments, I would like to rebut to my previous speaker. My previous speaker talked about why we should prioritize the intelligent people. How they talked about it is a government role to do it, and it is government role to actually maximize the people's life. First, I want to rebut that we think that people's life is very important. Therefore, but before that, we should actually not discriminate the people's people's life on the intelligence, which is very unfair standard. And our team think that we should give everyone a chance to live in our next civilization. And second, it is an assumption that if they actually send the intelligent people to the other world, our team think that we can't guarantee that it would always succeed. And our team think that even though it is not actually guaranteed those kind of civilization, our team think that we should not sacrifice some of the other people by those kind of unfair standards. And also our team think that our society that we would present is much more effective on actually building a stable civilization in other ways. Therefore, our team think that those kind of prioritizing intelligent people in this debate do not stand. And also they talked about the importance of intelligent people. And our team think that first, it is very immoral to decide the people's importance on the intelligence. And they are actually deciding people's importance of the life. And they are deciding the importance of people. And our team think that in the first level, our team think that it is very immoral to do it. And also they talked about if they send the intelligent people to survive, our team think that those kind of survival do not always leads to intelligent people needing. Therefore, our team think that points also do not stand in our team's case. Before I move on to our team's constructive arguments, I would like to state our alternative. We would not actually prioritize people based on the intelligence. I would like to give a lot of people a chance to do it, and the government would actually choose the people randomly, and our team think that this is much more better in our society. We would prove to you why it is such an effective way in our team's constructive arguments. Our team's first constructive argument would be about the principal justification. I have two levels of analysis. First, our team will prove to you why it is so unjustified to actually decide people by the intelligence. This policy is actually evaluating one person's life on the intelligence. And our team think that it is very unjustified standard to actually decide one people's fate and also one people's life. Therefore, our team think that the government should actually provide the equal chance for the citizens to actually live, especially in case of the life. And our team think that, however, the government is actually just deciding by people by their intelligence, and our team think that it is very unfair standard. Even if there is a case that they would actually fail, even though we send those kind of intelligent people, and our team think that if that is not guaranteed, and sacrificing those kind of people, normal people, and common people, our team think that it would be very unfair for those kind of people actually being sacrificed, even though they are not actually succeeding to actually build a civilization in new world. And second, why our team will prove to you why it is a government responsibility to actually provide everyone a chance. The basic government responsibility is to actually be equal and give chance for everyone to actually live. And our team think that those kind of government should provide rights to everyone. And our team think that those kind of important rights is actually the right to live. However, they are giving and providing those kind of rights by evaluating intelligence. Actually, citizens did a lot of the responsibility for the government, but they are not providing equal rights for those kind of people to live. And our team think that it is very unjustified for the government to actually give rights based on the intelligence, and they are not fulfilling the government responsibility. And therefore, our team think that it is unjustified in the principle level. And now I would like to move on to our team's effectiveness arguments regarding our policy. Our team think that our policy is much more effective to actually maintain the society and maintaining the new civilization better than the government team, because within our society and civilization, there are diverse people that is maintaining and containing the civilization. And these people are actually important to maintain our society and civilization, even in the case of those kind of new civilization. And our team wants to prove to you why those kind of diverse people and their identity is very important in this case. In those kind of new civilization and new world, our team think that there are a lot of problems that can happen in a diverse way. However, by choosing people randomly, there are a lot of chances that we can pick some of the diverse people, and our team think that because they can survive in a diverse way, our team think that it can increase the possibility that they can make sure those kind of civilization can be stable in diverse way. However, if they only choose those kind of intelligent people, our team think that there are less possibility that they would actually sustain a civilization in those kind of diverse way. Therefore, our team think that those kind of our policy is much more effective, and also thinking about those kind of more high ground. Therefore, our team thinks that our team policy is much more effective. However, the government team is actually failing to prove to you why it is such an effective way to actually maintain the new civilization. And these are the reasons why our team is so proud to oppose. Thank you.
We thank the leader of opposition for a wonderful speech. Deputy Prime Minister, whenever he's ready. Deputy Prime Minister, when he's ready.
Madam and Mr. Speaker, we told about our team's stance and goals. What is the most important goal is to make the sustainable societies. But other teams didn't engage about our team societies of our team's goals. But other teams will keep arguing this. It is different with our team's goals. So now I will prove why our teams will keep going a wrong way for this notion with our team's goal and stances and definitions. So firstly, the other team says that we have to choose our people. This is the government role to choose it's responsibility of the government to give a same chance to all of the people. But however, when we pick anyone's people who are ordinary people or who is an intelligence, but this means that we cannot go into goals. It is hard when we choose all of the peoples for reasons that we need some diversity. So we think that for this for choosing all the people, we cannot get onto our teams the main goals of the society. So we think that this is more low possibility when we choose the intelligence than the ordinary people for the using responsibility of the government chances. So secondly, we want to rebut the first and second arguments. Firstly, we talk about the maximum. The government role is also to protect the maximum people's lives. But the other teams keep talking about this is immoral way to discriminate with unfair standards. But we give them standards. What is the standards? We think that this is more closer for our team's goals. We also talk about we are making more sustainable societies. But we also prove that intelligence is more getting. We think that we prove this how the intelligence can make more sustainable society. So we think that this is not a discriminate, but we prove that this is why it is justified for choosing prioritized people basis intelligence to go to the space. And secondly, they talk about the principle justifiable. And secondly, they said the governments also let's refer to twice. They talk about the government have to give a same chance, okay? But for second reasons of this rebut, the government has the government has more important values. This value is to make more sustainable societies and making new civilizations for other areas. But we also prove this why the ordinary people cannot make more better societies and new civilizations. But we also prove and we clearly talk about this. How can the intelligent people can make more better societies and making most better new civilizations. So for this lots of rebuts, I think that other teams are failed to develop their arguments with their goals. And lastly, let's prove why our teams win lastly. The last argument is about the purpose of meanings of the civilizations and how can make this benefits in this new civilizations. Firstly, let me definitions what is the civilizations means. The civilizations means civilizations. It means have a lot of values and communicate each other and making more other culture, and we need some diversity of the ideology. So other teams agree about we need some diversity. But we need more the professional diversity and professional ideology diversity onto making a new civilization. For example, ordinary people think A, but the professional thinks A either. But the professional people can think more better and more high quality of ideologies when we are professionals or of the intelligence. So for this reason, we think that it is more better to check our goals by the intelligent peoples. And secondly, other teams can keep talking about the unfair, but we think that it is also harmful effects, but we think it is also justifiable. Before we talk about, it is not only the government role to make a new society or keep going making mankind history, but this is role of our team thinks that this is role of all of the mankind people. So we think that this value is more bigger than keeping their freedoms or chance giving or responsibilities to giving chance. So we think that the making of new things. So for making the civilizations is the most important values of this debate, all these debates. And secondly, the other teams can talk about it when we choose the lots of intelligent people, then they can make some lots of troubles with their different ideologies. But we think that this is also a process about keeping going the goal of the civilizations. So firstly, we also definition that civilization needs some diversities. So they make their diversity of their different ideology, then they will debate or they talk or communicate with their ideology. So we think that they can make more better ideologies for making the new civilizations with their backgrounds or like environmental things. So we think that our team is making more the new civilizations and the government role and mankind roles can make for our team's government in the government side. So we think that for these three arguments of loss of rebuttal, we prove that other teams have a loss of logically wrong with our team's main goal and the stance. So our team thinks that our teams take this point for the arguments versus our team's argument. So I'm so proud to propose.
value of life cannot be decided or judged by simple intelligence of individuals. However, a moral proposition team is judging individual productivity and functionality of individuals and deciding people's life value. Therefore, at the first time, they're ignoring the real responsibility of the government, which is granting same opportunities for individuals, no matter of the intelligence or productivity of individuals. And I believe that this is a real responsibility of the government that they should do. Therefore, we strongly believe that intelligence-based priority can never be justifiable in this debate. And before I move to our team's last argument, which is under the idea of social narrative, I will rebut to my previous speaker. First of all, my previous speaker strongly argued about the benefits of prioritizing intelligent people, and they argued that we cannot never achieve the goal of effectiveness. However, I can strongly disagree to this point because of two main reasons. First of all, it is a great assumption that we cannot achieve the goal of effectiveness because, as our team first speaker has continuously mentioned, diversity, which can be only achieved in our effective alternative policy, will better achieve the goal of effectiveness because diverse individuals will have diverse opinions. So, our team believes that the diversity is an important factor at achieving stable and sustainable development because there will be more checks and balances that are occurring between diverse individuals, and also it will be easier to handle some difficult problems because there are more opinions and more individuals who are related to diverse areas. So I think that this is a great assumption that diversity is not important than intelligence of individuals, since diversity is a unique benefit, an exclusive benefit that we can only achieve in this debate. And secondly, even if we cannot achieve the goal of effectiveness, it is still fine for us, since the meaning itself of providing equal opportunities for every people is important and crucial, since it is the real responsibility of the government. And this is the only way to achieve the real government responsibility, since when we follow the logic of the proposition team, then we can never achieve the real responsibility of the government. So I believe that even if we cannot achieve the goal of effectiveness, it is still okay for us because we sense social narrative and social impact that all individuals are crucial and necessary in the society. And also our team believe that this will be further elaborated in our team's last argument. Before we move on, is there any POIs? Then let me move on to our team's last argument, which is under the idea of social narrative. And first of all, social narrative. And first of all, what are the characteristics of intelligent people? And most of the intelligent people are rich or financially stable, since there are several circumstances and environmental conditions that are needed to be intelligent. However, in the case of poor, there are no environment to be. It is hard for poor to actually have environment to be intelligent and maximize their ability and potential to be intelligent. So I think that in the most of the case of intelligent people, it will be usually rich individuals. So I think that because of the characteristic of intelligent individuals, it will be highly hard for poor individuals to be intelligent. So I think that prioritizing people based on intelligence itself is discriminating poor and rich people. So I think that it will be highly unfair standard for poor because poor are unable to maximize their ability to be intelligent people. So I believe that because of the characteristic of intelligent people who are usually rich and are financially stable will be will be easier to achieve this standard of intelligence. So I can strongly believe that this prioritizing people based on intelligence is highly unfair standard for certain people, such as poor individuals who are unable to achieve the goal of circumstances to become intelligent individuals. And secondly, how can we take moral high ground better in this debate? I believe that we can take higher moral high ground better in this debate than proposition team because when we follow the logic of proposition side, they're judging individuals with an ability and intelligence of individuals, and getting rid of individuals' basic right to live, and also have basic right to live, and getting rid of equal opportunities and chances that are provided for every single citizen in the society. Therefore, the logic that evaluating individuals' value of life itself is highly immoral idea. So I think that. So our belief that we can take moral high ground better in this debate, and also it can send wrong social narrative that intelligent individuals are are the one who are needed in the society and send wrong social messages to individuals that unintelligent people are not necessary in the society. So this will worsen the status quo, which are only caring about the intelligence and ability of individuals. So I believe that this will even worsen the problem in the status quo and also send wrong social impact and social messages that some unintelligent individuals are not necessary in the society. So they're unnecessary and unimportant in the society. So I believe that we can take higher moral high ground better in this debate because we're providing equal opportunities for everyone, and we can provide fair standard for both rich and poor, and also intelligent people and unintelligent people, because everyone will have equal opportunities no matter of their ability or intelligence. So I believe that because we can consider more diverse stakeholders, we can take moral high ground better in this debate. So these are the reasons why I came strongly proud to oppose. Thank you.
We thank the Deputy Leader of Opposition for a wonderful speech. Now, Government Whip, whenever he's ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, as the third speaker of the government team, I'll introduce the first question that I find in this debate, and then prove why our team has won in this debate. Before I go on to several questions that I found, first I have 2 points to clarify about the opposite case. Firstly, according to their second argument, they said that while picking randomly reaches their alternative, the benefit of this, they argued that had more possibility of picking diverse people. However, this is same to meaning that this has a very great danger of having non-picking the diverse people. However, as our team has already mentioned, the definition of intelligent people can be very diverse. It could be the meaning of having a leadership, or also having great scientific effort, or having a great scientific knowledge. So therefore, while having this very great diversity of intelligence, while having a random and having a very great danger of only picking a very non-intelligent and very having lesser ability people, and having a so less diverse people. So therefore, our team strongly believes that while following our team's this motion, we can have a better diverse than their alternatives of having only random people. And moreover, their third arguments had a point that while this will make a social message or intelligent is better. However, why is it so important? All these people are gonna die. Like this means that the people of the social narrative, the social message for them isn't important. And moreover, this could have furthermore better thing for the survive people, which means that they feel kind of very important people. This will be a benefit for them for making the society better. And moreover, while this social message isn't really big problem for now, well, at the end of the day, of the human, people will all die. Like this is having a discrimination or having social message is so not important problem compared to this. Well, the most important thing as a government is to protect and save the citizens' lives, and also to make a sustainable society for the future. Yes.
Are you saying that it is justified for the government to decide the life value of the intelligence?
Yes. The discrimination isn't a real important problem. Why? Because everybody will gonna die if government do something. The real important thing as a government is to protect the citizens. Now I'll go on to 2 questions that I found in this debate. Firstly, the first question that I found in this debate is firstly future civilization versus problem of little just now. The government is more just arguments about the justifiable was only talking about the discrimination and immoral things about the discrimination and the value of life. Why is this so important? Like our team had already mentioned, the most important thing as a government is to make a sustainable society for the future lives, and also to serve more people's lives, to save more people's lives. So therefore, this is such a short term. So such a little problem of just now, and this is very short term. This problem will be ended if only these intelligent people go to other place and survive. This problem will just gone, and this means that while our team has very strong.
Sir.
While their problem will just short term, our team has very strong long-term benefit for this. And secondly, the second question I found in this debate is, what is real government's role? Firstly, our team has strongly argued that the most important thing as a government is to protect the citizen lives. So therefore, while protecting citizen life, the most important thing will be making a further sustainable society for the future lives. However, the opposition team said that the most important thing as a government is to provide right to live to everyone and to be equal. However, firstly, their first point about the providing the right to live for everyone is not really realistic. Why? The situation itself is making the government unable to provide right to live to everyone. It doesn't have any reality. Why? We have only one spaceship. Government are forced to kill other people. So therefore, our first point doesn't really seem realistic. And moreover, they said that the government responsibility is to be equal. This is only a very little point as a government. Firstly, as our teams had already argued, why had government made? It's because to make the people to live better. This means that, and also as our team said, the most important thing as a life is to have a life. If we die, there is no life. So therefore, the real meaning of government is to save. We can go to the conclusion that the meaning of the government is to protect the citizen life. So therefore, when our team had argued that the government role is to save the most life of the people, the opposition team's argument about the government's role was only about very narrowed down for the democracy, and democracy isn't important in this situation. And moreover, their thing about this government role was just an assumption about saying that government role is equal. They hadn't have any elaboration for this. Thank you.
We thank the government whip for his wonderful speech. Now opposition whip whenever she's ready.
So, Madam Speaker, throughout this debate, I shall prove you two things. Firstly, how this policy is principally immoral, and secondly, even if we say that this policy is done, how is it very ineffective compared to our side of the world. Now, I'll straightly go on to the three clashes I found on this debate, and the rebuttal shall be included in the clashes. The first clash is about, is this policy morally justified? So, Madam Speaker, we all agree that if we have the chance, we want to save everyone, and we will very love that if we can do this. But in this debate, we believe that this cannot be the case, and we have to inevitably save some amount of people. But we believe that even in this case, we need to consider the government's role, which, as we have continuously argued, it is a moral role to save the most fair amount of people that the government can choose. On their side, their standard of choosing the people was intelligence. We believe that they said it was very justified as a government's role to make a sustainable society with these intelligent people. We have three responses to this. Firstly, we believe that this wasn't even a direct response to the argument that talked about the moral values. They were just ignoring our argument about moral the problems of moral values. And secondly, even if we say that their value about government's role to make a sustainable society is important, we believe that our value was more important, which was prioritizing the equality of every citizen in this society. And even in our case, we can protect the value of a new civilization being made. And we believe that this was not an exclusive benefit that was coming from their side, which I will further elaborate in the second class. Thirdly, we believe that their policy was not even effective, and this is because we believe the people who can survive or make a new civilization in other society should not be based on intelligence, and this will only harm the society by making an ineffective society that was just based on intelligence. Now I'll go on to the second part, which is about, is this policy even efficient? They said that intelligence equals the survival of a better civilization, but we want to say no to this thought. Why? We believe that this policy is prioritizing people based on intelligence, but there is no guarantee on their side that diversity can exist. Rather, we say that due to the characteristic of intelligent people, this diversity can be limited. For example, we believe that intelligent people might like thinking but not acting, and they can read books of academic things instead of really acting to do survival. We believe that we are not arguing every intelligent people are like this, but we are saying that the diversity can be comparatively limited than our side, which we promote more diversity throughout the people because we are picking people randomly compared to their side. We believe that because of this characteristic, the survival cannot be guaranteed even on their side, and their policy of saying of an efficient policy cannot stand. Now I'll go on to the last class, which was about, in the end of the debate, which team proves the goal better at the end of the debate by comparing the best and worst cases. Their team's whole argument was based on that this policy was very effective. We believe that people who have been seen as intelligent people, when these people go to another planet, we believe that because we told you intelligence never equals survival. This key to survival is not just academic diversity as the proposition says it. It is the diversity to the ability to solve problems, as to survive and solve situations. Then how can this be proved on our side? We believe that our policy, which was a random pick between diverse people, which means that we will not think of any standard, even intelligence. We will pick everyone, including women and child, or intelligent people or unintelligent people. We believe that this will promote more diversity, and when these diverse people come, we believe that there will be more experiences when to survive in this kind of new situations. And even if some people cannot solve the situations, for example, as we told you, there can be limits of intelligent people. Other people can solve this problem by having more experiences. On our side, we believe that our goal was to prove this policy is very immoral and ineffective, and we have told you that we have the moral high ground. Even in the worst case where our team could not make an effective society, we can prioritize the moral high ground because we are not basing people's life on just intelligence. We believe that the government side is prioritizing the moral high ground and equally picking the people from diverse places. Because we believe that at the end of the debate, our side have promoted more diversity and more effectiveness and the moral high ground compared to their side. We believe that our team has taken the clash of ineffectiveness and moral fatigue. For these reasons, we take the 3 clashes and the debate home. Thank you.
Thank the opposition whip for a wonderful speech. Now to end the debate for opposition team, opposition reply whenever she's ready.
Madam Mr. Speaker, in this debate, everyone is actually agreeing that life value is most important in our world. Therefore, our team thinks that true government responsibility is to actually provide everyone a chance to actually live in a new world, not actually discriminating people by their intelligence. And in this debate, there was two main issues that was debated. And the first issue was about, is this principally justified? And second was about, is this policy even effective? Most of the arguments from the government side was on the premise that this policy is actually effective. However, our team proved to you that those kind of policy that they have suggested is not actually effective. First, those kind of intelligence that they actually mentioned is not actually leading to those kind of surviving. Therefore, our team thinks that those kind of policy that they have suggested is not effective. And even they are actually violating basic human rights, that they have a right to live. Therefore, our team thinks that we are actually taking the moral high ground too. And they are even sacrificing those kind of normal people by those kind of unfair standard, even though we are not having guaranteed new civilization that it will succeed. Therefore, our team thinks that it is very unfair to just sacrifice those kind of people on those kind of unfair standard that is suggested by the government team. However, our team proved to you why it is very justified and principally justified to provide everyone a chance to live and do a random pick by the government. Our team proved to you why this would be actually effective in our society by talking about, because we pick the people randomly, they can have more diverse experience, and by those kind of diverse experience, our team think that they can lead to better solving problem or better surviving on those kind of civilization. However, the government team can actually never fulfill those kind of diverse experience and diverse people on their case, because they're only trying to prioritize the people based on the intelligence. Therefore, our team think that their policy is not effective, and our team policy would be more effective to solve those kind of problems that they have mentioned and to survive in a new civilization. And also, they never engaged to our team's effective argument. They never told us why it is our team policy is ineffective. Therefore, our team think that they are actually agreeing to this point, that our policy is much more effective in this debate. Therefore, our team think that our policy can actually solve those kind of problems better and build a new civilization in our society. And because of those kind of reasons, our team think that we take this debate, and thank you for listening.
We thank the opposition reply for a wonderful speech. Now to end the debate, government reply whenever he's ready.
Madam and Mr. Speaker, today on the whole debate, the debate was the immoral versus or role of the mankind. So both cases or both arguments are proving that we have to follow the government rule. But let's talk about the really principles about the government rule. The government rule is to follow the democratic societies. So what is democracy? We have to follow the most values of the lots of people. So we think that there are talking that we have to give all of the people of chances. But we think that we have more important values of the societies. This value is about 70 billion of the values to protest their history or keep continuing their history. So we think that in following to the democracy and the government role, it is also justified to follow the 70 billion of values. It's justified to make the immoral selections, like immoral to doesn't give responsibility to giving a chance for everyone, because this is reasons that's about democratic societies. And other teams talk, even if we also agree it is immoral things, but we have to prove this. What is immoral values, or keeping immoral values, or making more new civilizations, which are more better values for make in these societies. So we also prove this value is the most important values in this society, because this value is arguing this by the 70 billion of people. But the opposition teams keep going. It's just immoral or keeping the discrimination. But we already proved this. It is justifiable for this society for going the more intelligence firstly, because to making more justified for making more rational or more better civilizations. And secondly, the other teams' values was wrong with our team's stances and main goals, because our team didn't engage with or tackle for our team's firstly, goals or our society's stances. So we think that other teams' whole argument was just keeping for immoral, but we also proved that this immoral arguments cannot justify when did in these responsibilities of chances. So we argued and we get engagement for the other team's loss of argument. So for this reason, our team thinks that we take this debate for this debate. Thank you for listening.
We thank the governor of Thai for his wonderful speech. Debaters, please cross the floor, shake hands, and return to the main venue for results announcement.
You have to write the names?
Yes.
Okay.